The Magic Thief, Chapter 16. I spent 6 days going to school with Rowan, while keeping an eye open for my locus magicalicus. The reading was going well. The searching was not. On the seventh day, Rowan met me at the Academico steps. She had her book bag with her and looked impatient. "You're late, Con," she said, turning to lead the way into the main entry, the two-story gallery with the staircases and shiny stone floor. "No lesson today." She paused and pointed toward Bremby's door. "The magister wants to talk to you." She shot me her glinting look. "You in trouble, young man?" I hoped not. "Well," she said, "good luck." "Thanks." I nodded at her and crossed the hall to knock on Brumby's door. "Come in," his voice called. I opened the door and edged inside. "Ah, Con," Brumby said. He sat behind his desk, which was piled with papers and books bristling with page markers. He waved at one of the comfortable chairs before his desk. His two cats sat on the other one. "I'm not due at Magister's Hall for half an hour. That should give us a little time." Good. I needed to talk to somebody about my locust stone problem. I went over to the chair and sat down. "How are the lessons with your tutor?" Brumby asked. "All right," I answered. "Are you learning your runes?" I nodded. I didn't really want to talk to Brumby about schooling, and I could tell he didn't want to talk about anything but my schooling. "Good," he beamed. "Brumby," I said before he could ask me if I'd learned to spell Conn. "How do I find my locus magicalicus?" Ah. He shifted in his chair, then opened a drawer of his desk, as if looking for something. "Well, Con, that is for Nevery to help you with." "He doesn't have time," I said. "Yes," Brumby said unhappily, "I know. This situation with the magical decay, it's a very serious problem, and we are relying on Nevery to figure out what's going on." I nodded. I knew it was serious. Nevery had been very distracted, spending hours tinkering with devices and magical calibrations in his workroom, or staying up all night to pore over books, searching for precedents to the situation in Wilmette, or meeting with the other magisters. From the looks of it, he hadn't found any answers, and he was frustrated and short-tempered as a result. "It's awkward, Con. Do you understand?" I didn't, really. Brumby went on, fidgeting with a pen he'd taken from a drawer. "The thing is, my boy, it's very odd that Nevery has taken you on before you found your locust stone." A sinking feeling gathered in my stomach. He didn't think I should be an apprentice. "I am a wizard, Brumby," I said, "and I only have 23 days left to find my locus magicalicus," I said. Brumby sighed and nodded, "and Nevery is too busy. Very well, then, I will help you, Con, as much as I am able." I took a deep breath of relief. Brumby stood and bustled toward the door. "Come with me. We'll start with our collection here and see what happens." He led me into a dark, dusty back room of the library. "Ah, here we are. Let me just fetch us a light." I waited in the darkness until he returned carrying a stand with 6 candles on it. He pulled out his locus magicalicus, which was round and brown like an egg. He used it to light the candles, whispering a word and touching the stone to each wick, which sputtered and then blossomed into light. As the room brightened, I saw that it was full of wooden boxes, all labeled and stacked neatly on shelves. "Yes, very good. In these boxes," Brumby said, pointing at the shelves, "are locus magicalicus stones, carefully catalogued. They wash up here at the Academicos, and we collect them and wait for their wizards to turn up. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. We have lots of stones and not many wizards, you see. We keep the stones just in case." I nodded. "But I reckoned people from the Twilight didn't show up often to claim a stone." "Here's what you must do," Brumby went on. "Go through the boxes carefully. Touch each stone, but be sure to put it back just where you found it. If your locus magicalicus is here, it will call to you." "Right." "What does this call sound like?" Brumby pursed his lips. "It's different for every wizard. For some, the call can be nearly undetectable, like a whisper. For others, it is a kind of tingling connection. In some rare cases, I'm told, the call of the locust stone is so overwhelming, like being caught up in a gigantic wave of magic." He shook his head. "At any rate, if your stone is here, you will know it is yours when you touch it." He smiled and patted me on the shoulder. "Now, I must go to Magister's Hall. I will leave you to it, shall I?" "Thank you," I said. "You're welcome, my lad," Brumby said. "Best luck." He went out, and the candle flames jumped in the breeze from the door closing as he left. I looked at the boxes, tidy, labeled rows of them, piled from floor to ceiling. Going methodically through them would take days. And my locust magicalicus was not here. I knew it already. Nevery's journal. Too much to do. Device construction going very slowly. Can't get cursed verity crystals properly aligned. Hardly a drop of slow silver to be found in city, and spent 15 hours in Academicos library. Still have thousands of pages to read, notes to transcribe, collate. Need secretary. Absolutely certain boy hasn't temperament for secretarial work. Asks too many questions. And his handwriting is terrible. Will ask Brumby for advanced student at Academicos to assist me. Left library late, close to midnight. Walking through tunnel toward Heart's Ease, came to locked gate. Boy curled up in shadows. Asleep. Had forgotten about him. Cursed nuisance. Nudged him with foot to wake him up. Pulled out my locust magicalicus, said the opening words. Well, boy, I said, you've been waiting all this time. Why didn't you just pick the lock to get through? He stood up stiffly, followed me through the gate when it opened. I tried to, he said. Imagined the lock singed his thieving fingers for him. Walked through tunnels to Heart's Ease without speaking further. Went up to kitchen, Bennett asleep, so told Boy to make tea while I warmed my fingers before the fire. Cursed Academicos library cold and damp has gotten into my bones. Note to self, must get Bennett stove for cooking. Boy brought cup of tea and a biscuit, very quiet. Come to think of it, Boy often quiet, not a chatterer. Fortunate, because will not tolerate chattering. Drank tea, warmed up. Well, Boy, I said, you are a master lockpick, are you? Boy nodded. Finished tea, went up to study where I keep several locked boxes. There, Boy taught me to pick locks. Not as easy as one might think. Some of Boy's instruction. Keys have flanges. Trick is to insert wires into lock to replace flanges. Easy to do when key has just one flange. Wire turns lock like a bolt and, as Boy says, you're in. Some keys have flanges all around barrel. These, Boy says, are tricky. Other keys have crenellations or studs, and some have flanges, studs, and crenellations, and these, Boy says, are really interesting. Locks are like puzzles, according to Boy, but good lockpick can open even trickiest puzzle lock in under a minute. Boy also advises that lockpick should carry around at least 2 sets of wires, and one should be hidden in case he's taken up by city guards. Picked up one of Bennett's knitting needles from table, said it could be useful to lockpick. Says a little knife is good to have as well, because a lockpick with, as he calls it, quick hands, can use it to pick easy locks. Don't believe there is any such thing as easy lock. Giving it a try. Managed to lock myself out of study. Boy inside, warming himself by fire. Wouldn't let me in. Curse him. Finally picked lock, got in. Expect picking pockets, more difficult skill to learn.